Hey buddies, welcome to AmassGames. My name is Simon. Today we're talking about top 2,121 board games of all time for 2023. Right now we are moving up that list. We are in at number 70 now. This is, I think it's designed by Elizabeth Hargrave. It's a small pocket wallet kind of size game called Tussie Mussy involving various flowers, and you're looking to score the most points. Up next we have a conceptual game. It won the 2010 SPIEL.digital, which is a game related to best for fun, easy to teach, highly interactive and good for families. There it is, it's Dixit. I've got two copies. This particular edition is for 3 to 6 players, as is my other copy, but it does have 10 promos in it where some of the cards are worth £30 each. Cards, by the way, are 80 by 120mm. I do a card sleeve to sleeve cards, so maybe you find something of interest there. I do have some card sleeving videos. Next up, we have got something completely different. It is by a first-time designer, they've all ever made, Hervé Lemaitre, and this is Western Legends. It's a sandbox cowboy style game, a Western game, whereby you can be a rustler and then you can get arrested and then you're wanted. You could be a sheriff and you can arrest someone who's wanted and gain legendary points or wanted points as well. You could make some money at the bank or take the money to the bank. You can make the money at the bank by literally robbing it, and then of course you get wanted and then you might get arrested yourself. You could go to the cabaret and stuff like that. Lots of different things you can do. Loads of fun. Next up, Seven Wonders. So this is the second edition, but I do have the first edition. I'm calling it the same thing in this instance. I do have promos for the first edition in here, Catan and stuff like that, which I've yet to play. I've been playing through all the different wonders, like boards, both sides as well. And I'm talking about other Seven Wonders games in this series, which you may have already seen on the channel already. But again, all these games you can see on, for example, everything that I've mentioned in person, that I've shown you a physical copy of. You can find the How to Set Up, Play and Review, unboxings, previews, teaser trailers as well on the channel as well. But next up, Slough Off in at 66. So this is another game for Wizard Extreme. So Wizard's very popular on the channel. This is a card game, which is very much like The Crew that came before it. Like I say, it's basically Wizard with a logbook. So Wizard is a game where you're trying to predict how many tricks you can win, whereas in Wizard Extreme or Slough Off, it's the opposite. I think Stefan Dora did Slough Off, whereas Wizard and Wizard Jubilee Edition has been designed by Ken Fisher, who I think is from Canada. Next up, we're now into a 2-player abstract game, all over the place with this kind of stuff. And we have John Yarney from Gen 42 Games as the designer. Very interesting game whereby you represent a queen bee and trying to surround your opponent's queen bee. In this instance, I'm not talking about PLM, which is basically pillbug, mosquito, and also there's like the ladybug, which you can have in it as well. So I don't have to play with them. I'm happy to play with a pure regular game. Next up, a game which I've actually moved around on the list of this. I played it last week. This is by Michael Kiesling and Wolfgang Kramer. It's the third in their Mask trilogy in 2002. Now, another game that won SPIEL.digital in 1999 was Tikal, or even 2000 perhaps, but Mexico 2002. A game whereby you are in an Incan empire and you're trying to surround with canals a certain designated size of area to score points relative to that area. So you have areas, let's say there are 13 points available, some of them worth 3. Funnily enough, those are not square areas, so you need to spend action points to build those areas out. This action point mechanism, it hasn't really been made in any other games since. It's only been used for this Master Trilogy particularly because there's loads of things you want to do, but you're limited based on the amount of actions you can be doing. But you can teleport across the board, you can go on bridges and move across to other bridges, you can build those canal points for a point as well. And like I said, if you control that most area when it's created, then you'll gain the most victory points. However, other people can get in that area too. You can spend victory or action points as well to build different sized towers. So the smallest is with 1 action point, second with 2, 3 and 4. And again, ties are friendly as well. So you play this over 2 rounds, you have different size, requirements to try and complete the next bit. Very fascinating game and a great Super Meeple edition in 2015. Okay, next up we've got a solo game by CGE, again a completely different style of game here, in at 63, Under Falling Skies. It's basically Space Invaders, the board game. Fascinating kind of campaign that you run through. And I've also got that on the channel as well. 62, Edge of Darkness. I might have a video for unboxing this, but it's not my copy. It's by AEG, and this happens to be a game designed by John D. Clare, who created the card crafting idea, whereby you can sleeve and put things in. If you played Mystic Vale, it's very similar, but it's built more bigger and grander, over 30 different missions, whereby you're fighting off bosses. And finally, at 61, Adventure Island. Now we're talking about another kind of campaign game, which is up to 5 players. I've played it as a 2, whereby you can play through 5 different missions, but it takes lots of time to keep playing it. And what you're going to be doing is on an island, do you want to go and speak to a hermit crab, or hermit in fact? Do you want to go across another island? You might discover something. Do you want to befriend the tribes? Do you want to marry the tribes? Do you want to discover stuff? Do you want to go into a cave? Do you want to cross a rickety bridge? Highly enjoyable. Check out my video for that too. Very impressed with that game. So the next game, which will be the next video, if you want to subscribe and hit the notification bell, is going to be a worker placement game. So in particular with an expansion. So if you are interested in watching that, like I said, subscribe, notification bell. Aside from that, there are occasionally competitions. Keep checking through back on Linktree. Please let me know in your comments on YouTube any thoughts on this one. Please join the discussion on Facebook and also follow on Instagram, over 2,800 posts. Western Legends, I'm getting my miniatures painted in a few weeks, so looking forward to seeing how that turns out. And aside from that, let's say, look, got some new games that are coming soon to the channel as well. Check out those playlists I've mentioned in terms of how to set up, play and review. But for now, back to the table.